Hey y'all, welcome back to Creative Bayou Mama. If you've been here before and if you haven't been here before, I'm glad you're here for the first time. I am working on my Scrappy 8 Challenge 2026 journal. I have constructed the journal and I use these large white envelopes, so I have a couple of places back here to stick some extra stuff, a little pocket, tuck spot. But the outside is very plain. Here is the prompt list, and I've got perfectly lay flat pages to do my work on for the 9 prompts that we will have for this year. But I want to decorate the cover, and well, maybe I'm doing that backwards, but this is a junk journal. There's no rules. I can do it how I want. So what I'm doing is I am going to make a cluster cover. And so I've started with making clusters, and I call them clusters of 8. And I'm using a lot of different images of the number 8 because it's Scrappy 8. And this has some meaning to me as well. Now, you're going to have, if you've watched the couple of previous videos, you're going to have seen this here, Gumbo. Gumbo is the name of the Louisiana State University yearbook. And I have 3 of these that I thrifted. This one in particular, I have decided to harvest a few things out of it. And I kind of gave myself an extra challenge for Scrappy 8 this year, is that I'm going to include a little bit of a Louisiana in each part of this. So that includes the cover. And so I'm pulling out some things from this. It's 1950. And I have gotten a couple things out. This was the football coach that year. His name was Gaynell Tinsley, and you may have seen this in a little reel or a short that I did. So we're going to be using that on the cover. We're going to be using, I think, this image. I think I'm going to use the buildings. I'm going to do something with that, and then we're going to make some covers too. And this is also a really good image. I like this word gumbo right here. I may be pulling that out. We'll see. But first, because this cover is a little bit white, and if I'm putting clusters of things on here, I don't really want this white showing through on the front and the back. So I'm going to do something to give this some texture before I start. So I've got some old book pages that I pulled out of a book where I did an altered book. I think these are all from the Marie Antoinette diary book. So what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to take these. I want to get the plain edges off of the paper. So I am just going to pull these and tear them. I'm not concerned about it being straight necessarily like this. Just getting that little blank edge off of the pages because I want mainly text. So like this. So then I'm going to take that, just randomly just pull those apart and get me some pieces. Now I want this to blend into this kind of grungy cluster look that I'm doing. If you see the cluster I have here, it's just got this kind of grungy look to it. So we're going to make some more of these in a little bit. And so what I do, and this little thing, it's not really a tray. This is the lid off of a container of leaf lettuce from the store, and I've just pulled the label off the top of there. And I'm just going to use some ink because I just want to just grunge these up a little bit. I just want to make them look not so stark. They're not exactly white, but I want to give them a little bit. And this is just a brown ink pad, acid free. So I'm just going to do that. I'm doing it on top of this plastic lid because that way I can just do it right on top of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work on this. I'm also going to pull in some of that brown Amazon paper packaging that I used when creating the journal itself. And so talking about this stuff. Okay, I'm going to tear some pieces of that. I'm going to probably ink the edges of that after I've torn it with some black. I'm going to glue it onto my cover, and then I'll be back. All right, we're back, and I'm going to finish up the last couple of these. I've been gluing everything on with this Tombow permanent glue stick, and it's been working pretty good. This is just one of those advertisement calendars that you get in the mail that you don't want, but they work great for using to glue on. So we're going to get the last couple of these pieces of brown paper on here. And you might notice, you might say, well, you are going over the edge. That's okay. We're just gonna trim that off even on the edge. Here where I have I've gone around the spine and glued it well. And this might look funny. It's just, I just want to give a background so that when we start putting these various clusters on here to cover, that if I have little blank spaces in between, I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry about just something boring being there, that there's a background to it. So that's the whole purpose in doing this. Most of it's actually going to be covered up. All right, I think we did that. We got it off pretty even. Little spot there, get off. But in the long run, it's not really going to matter because we're going to have all these clusters. Now, the only thing I did when I was doing the pieces of the book pages is I tried not to get any of the words upside down. I just tried to make sure they were all either going vertically in some way or were right side up. I thought upside down might be bothersome if we see them in the background. So that's what I've got there. And now we're going to start in with putting some of these things on there. Now, I know that I want the coach on there, and I want him with his yellow number 8 that I seem to have misplaced. Where is, no, that's not it. Oh dear. Anyway, so I don't think I want him on the front though, because I think it's going to be too distracting, because I'm going to have my name like of it, like Scrappy 8 on here, 2026, and then I have a title for my journal that I want to put on there that I'm going to explain in a little while. So I think we're going to fussy cut the coach out, and I'm going to put him on we're going to use him on the back here. So I need to find, it might have fallen on the floor somewhere. That never happens to you, does it? Like you lose something on the floor in your craft space? So I'm going to fussy cut him out. I'll probably speed this up and find that number 8 that I want to put on there. Okay, I finally found it. And guess where it was? On the floor, under the table. So it took me a minute. So we're going to get this cut out. And I know that I want this number on there. And this is one of those graphics that I got off of Morgue File. Well, not a graphic, it's a photograph that I got off of there, Morgue File. And it had just the 8 in yellow on the gray background. I did the little black edge around it. So anyway, I like that. I want that this way, that way. I think that way. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue that on Coach Tinsley there. And we're going to put him to the side, because then what I want to do is that I want to work on getting that other thing that I pulled out of the yearbook, this image. And I think, like I said, I just want the trees and this. And I'm thinking I just want it to be kind of down towards the bottom here, maybe wrapping around the edge just a little bit. I think so. Okay, so, but no clean edges here, really. I think we're just going to use the ruler to tear this. So I'm going to go right down the middle here. Okay, save that, and we'll use it for something else another time. Okay, I like that edge. I like the way this is tearing. This is really cool. okay, because it's not tearing. It's the type of paper that it is that's used to print. It does not, it's old paper, so it tears like that, and it's kind of cool. So what I'm thinking is this is going to be just kind of something else in the background, kind of leaving a little gap down there, wrapping this around the edge, maybe to the back like that, maybe a little more to the back. Yeah, that, because then that it leaves something at the edge there. You could tell that's windows and the edge of a building. Yeah, I think that's about in the right place. Now, what I'm wondering is, do I want to gray that up? No, I think I'd, not gray it up, but brown it up, make it look more sepia by using that brown ink. But I think because I have also got, you see this, and this is what I'm going for. You see kind of where we're going? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this on in approximately that position, and then we're going to get going from there. Right. So this is a weird sort of collage method, I guess you could say, because I'm making kind of clusters first, then I'm making a background to stick them onto. And so let's see how we can get this up about that far. And then we're going to wrap it around the back there. All right. And I think that that's good. I think I'm going to like this kind of right in there, but we're not going to glue this down yet. We're going to leave it for now and see where we're going with that. I want to make a couple more clusters here. So let's just work on those. And some of those, if you saw a reel, I was kind of sticking some things together. It's kind of experimental. I really like this little gal here. I think she's fun. Don't really have her glued in there yet. This is a piece of that potato sack I had. So I'm going to put this down here, right here. This is another one of those 8s that I got off of Morgue File. And I glued that on top of a piece of scrap paper, and which is a little piece of gold. And then this with the orange around it, that is actually a piece, one of the antique or vintage labels from Luise Heinzl's shop. I will link that in the description so you can find those labels, because I'm going to be using several of those in here. So this little gal came out of the yearbook. I tore her out, and then I just took that brown ink and just kind of put that tone just to age that photo some. And I think this is going to need a smidgen of glue right there just to hold that down, that piece of that ripped potato sack. These little cards came out of a little, where did I get those out of? Let me see if I can show you here out of my cabinet. I found these at a discount store. They came in a pack of 2 or 3. They have the same thing in them over and over again, but there's some neat little pieces of paper. Okay, so we've got her there. Oh shoot, I should have put this back behind her first, but I think we can still get that pulled up. This is a piece of that hanky, really old, very fragile hanky that I had, and because I just went looking for scraps for Scrappy, of course. Scrappy seems to lend itself to finding scrappy things. So we're going to put a little bit of glue there. Just, we want to hold that down just a little bit. And get going. I'm not sure this shiny little tag is going to go on the outside. It may end up on the inside of the cover somewhere, I'm thinking, but I think she's a cute little gal. Let's see, I'd like to cut that off, those pieces, and then let's get the black ink dauber out, and let's put a little bit of black where we cut that off, just to bring it together. I don't remember where this image came from. Who knows? I have a bunch of things laying around, so maybe if we put that 8 there, or there maybe. I've got a couple little words. Let me see. What do you think about that? What do you think? I think that's cute. Here, maybe just over there by itself with the word there. I think that needs a little black ink around it. I'm going to glue those down, and I'm going to call this one done. Okay. Okay. I think I'll do one more cluster with you. Yeah, okay. You might remember in a former video I told you that the place that I craft and I record is a public space in my house. It's basically like a pass-through glorified hallway, and sometimes I'm going to have interruptions, and that was one of those cases, so I apologize for that. It's a bit frustrating for me, but it's what I have at this point. So anyway, we've got our 2 clusters here we've made. I'm going to work on one, maybe 2 more. My battery is almost dead on my phone, so we'll see what happens. This is really interesting because this is a piece of paper bag, and I tore this from where I had embossed it with this gears embossing folder, and when I tore it, it kind of tore around. So that's interesting, and I'm not sure which side looks better, but I thought I could use one of these labels. Go this way with it. This way, and I liked this number 8 image, and I had torn around that. I kind of like that it has the white edge. I think I need to go ahead and get white edge, even though it gets really close to that number. I like the white edge all the way around, and put that there. I have a piece of the edge of that really fragile hanky that I had used before, and I want to get a few things that are a little simpler, not quite as large as this, but I'm not going much smaller, am I? But we're going to work on this. I think so, maybe this underneath the edge of that. And so I think we need to cut that off right about there. Okay, so that's going to go there. I think I'm going to use glue stick and glue that down. Just seems like maybe that would do better. You know, I wonder if I should have used a little ink on this just to bring the pattern out, but well, I didn't, so that's the way it's going to be now. I'm going to go back to my beacon here. Put that around. Put that up a little bit. Put this here. Okay. Now, normally, if I was just making a cluster, I might say, yeah, it needs something down here. But what I'm wondering is if this gives us the opportunity so that if we're doing something like this, is to layer them on top of each other, kind of like this, so to speak. I think that she is going to end up in here. I really do. You know what? I like her there. I think we're just going to go ahead and glue her in there. But you know, Could we make it like a tuck spot maybe for something? Or do I just want it to be decorative? I wish you were here to tell me what you thought. I think I'm just going to glue it in there and let it be decorative. I like it. I think it's fun. So just going to put her in there, and then decisions made. I'm not wondering if she's going on the outside of the cover. She's in here, and right there. I like that right there. I think that's fun, and very fun. I like it. Do you like her? I think she's cute. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. So if we're out here and I have, say, this cluster, and then I want to be able to tuck this one kind of on top of it. You see what I'm talking about there? How this, even though technically if that was just a cluster all by itself, it's missing something here. But because we can do that, that definitely gives us a spot to layer. So that takes the spot of needing something there. I'm kind of thinking I need a little bit of something here. And I like that I have this blue, and I found this cool. I just discovered it. You know, I mean, how many Amazon boxes do you get at your house? I get a lot at my house. I think we all probably do. And I saw that they had put a new little tape. Look at this on there. Look at that. And I thought, oh, that color. And it made me think about the color that I have on my envelope here. So I tore some of that up, and it is just junky and wonderful and stringy and very scrappy. So I'm thinking maybe if I tear a little strip of that, but I've got some smaller pieces of this already. Let me see if one of those will work. Yep, I think that would be about the right size. Let's see if we can get this to, it's a little, because it's got those fibers in there, those strings to make it get strong. Like strapping tape, you know, to keep that box closed. But if I could just, I want to try to stick it under there, or under here. I wish I had thought of sticking it under there before I glued it. But you know what? That's a glue stick. I can pull that up. That isn't dry yet. I can pull that up. There we go. All right. Put that like that. I'd like to have it a little thinner, so I think I'm just gonna I love that old thing. You know how in old movies somebody get a ransom note and it was like all of the letters cut out of like a magazine or something. I'll put on this. Couldn't identify who sent that note. That wouldn't work these days. But anyway, I thought, well, I could do that. And remember these papers that I showed you at the very beginning that I pulled out because it went with the colors I was wanting to use, which was inspired totally by this calendar envelope. These colors, charcoal, black, gray, and the browns and gold. And so this paper, and I have another one here that came from Luise Heinzl's Paper Colorpendium. Okay, I printed those out, and I thought I'm going to use them somewhere, I'm sure. Well, I decided that this little line where it's got these squiggles that look like pencil scribbles or something that goes into this, I thought that looks really cool. I had cut out these letters out of various things, and I thought that I would just glue them somehow on this line and with the 2026 over here somehow and do that. And I would like to do that and then put it this way down the edge of this. And then I'm also going to have a title for my journal. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stuttering. And I wanted to use the kind of the same artistic thing. And the reason I'm using so many number 8s is that the number 8 to some people, I saw number sets and I noticed the number 8 was missing in number sets. And I was like, why is it missing? So I kind of researched that. And there are people who think that it's inauspicious, that it's kind of unlucky, which I thought was really curious because my anniversary is actually the 8th of August, which is 8/8. And somewhere along the line, I found out that in Asian cultures, they think that's very lucky, repeated 8s. But I don't believe in luck or auspicious or inauspicious. I believe in blessing. And so when you look at the number 8, biblically or in a Hebrew way of thinking, the number 8 is special. And there were 7 days in the week. 6 days God created. The 7th day is the Sabbath or the Shabbat. And God stopped the creating. And then the 8th day, in the Hebrew way of thinking or biblically, it stands for something really special, and that is new beginnings. So I have my little letters here, and I'm gonna make. They're all mixed up, so who knows? Oh, look, that's a blessing. I pulled out new all by itself, but new beginnings. So I'm gonna make titles that are gonna go on here with this as well, and I'm gonna make some more clusters and all of that to go on here and fill this in. And we're just going to see how far my phone battery will go here. This has been fun. I never thought of using one of these. They're plastic, but it really makes some cool texture and little scrappiness. So I was thinking about putting that behind that. And here's one of the things that I was talking about with the cover and why I put this background on here. So if I want to put this down, this right here, I could leave that show through like that. So this is kind of where I'm going with this. And do I want to leave it just like that, or do I want something else back behind that? So, what do you think? This way. And I think you definitely want to ink that really good in black. So, out comes the black again. Here we go. I kind of like that this has this straight frame where everything else is torn and jagged. I think it's going to kind of make this is it's the title, or not the title, it's the category, it's the whatever. I don't know. It has a dual title because I'm going to put that other, I don't need some more ink here, on there. So, and my phone is telling me low battery. So you guys, I am going to have to go off camera, and I'm probably going to have to finish this tomorrow. I've got a lot of things going on. I have a friend where a couple of other friends and I are trying to take care of her. She just had major surgery, so I've got a few extra things going on, but I'm trying to get this done. So this is kind of my plan. I'm liking that. I'll be back with you later on, and I'm sorry that this video is so chopped up, but it's just the nature of how real life goes sometimes. Hey y'all, it's the next day and I'm back. And I got in a hurry last night and I went ahead and I just did some stuff. And my first thought when I looked at this was like, oh girl, you should not be allowed to operate a glue stick after 10 p.m. Yes, I was tired, I was feeling a little rushed, a little hurried, but this is what I had. But as I looked at this more, I decided that this really was representative of what I was going for, representative of what my life is now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this watered down white craft paint, and I'm just going to give this some white splatters on the front. We're going to see how this goes. I wanted to cover up a few things first. I wanted to cover those up, and that, and this. Well, I almost messed up, huh? Okay. Okay, trying not to get too much on there, but I want the white splatters to make it, bring it a little bit more cohesive. Let's get some larger ones up there. And yeah, I think that's getting what I want. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to dry this with the hairdryer, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to you about this a little bit more and what it is I think that it's representing. And we'll be back. And here we are. Sorry to add another bit of chop to this video, but seriously, watching paint dry is not all that exciting, and certainly not something that's to take up some of the video space. Now, the reason I was not loving this when I first did it is because I just looked at it and I went, oh, it's so much. But the more I looked at this, the more it began to look like a pile of just things, a pile of all of that stuff, that clutter, the kind of junk that gets in your lives. And one of the reasons that I've started on YouTube, crafting on YouTube, and it's brand new to me, it is a new beginning. And that's one of the major reasons that I titled my journal this, is because there's a lot going on in my life. There's a lot of things, people, stuff, ministry, and my crafting and my art is something that's for me. And it does something for me to be creative. It makes me a better person. It makes me easier to live with. It makes me overall more creative and better at everything I do, whether it be cleaning the house or cooking food or being a friend or studying the Word of God. Creativity is something that really boosts my soul and it gives me joy. So the more I looked at this, I thought this is really, really accurate, an accurate symbolic piece showing the way that my life has felt with all of this random cluttered stuff. And I like how you can look into this and there's layer after layer after layer after layer. But out of it is coming these little things, this scrappy 8. Okay, it's scrappy and it's there, and maybe it's junk being made into something else. But this right here, this brought me something to step out in bravery and in courage and do something, make my first video. And so it's a new beginning for me. And all of this stuff, this junkiness, it's like looking into a box that's full of all this random stuff, but there's things emerging from it. There's inspiration and there's a new beginning. And I've already talked to you about how the 8s in a Hebrew or a biblical mindset are symbolic of a new beginning, the 8th day after creation week. And I thought, well, if this is what it is, let's add a little bit more to it. So I thought, well, some buttons would be good. And I've already, placed one here. And I'm thinking maybe we'll put one like here and another one. Let's see, should it go there or maybe just in a random place up here. Now, some of the things that I added to this was some places that really fragile hanky, some strings from that, just more words, some different things. I also thought what might be fun is maybe some of these little paper clips. And if I glue down just that part, then maybe they would be usable. And I may have to come back and do that with some hot glue. I don't have that that going just yet. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. And then what I decided that it really, really needs, because this is new beginnings, it's about life, it's about new experiences, as I have these beautiful little acetate butterflies, and so I'm folding it in half so it'll be a little dimensional for me, and I want to glue that right there. And so that's what I'm going to do to the front and call it finished. Now, I have not finished the back or the inside back envelope. And tell me in the comments, do you want to see me do that on camera, or do you want me just to finish it and show it to you later when I start with my my first prompt, my February prompt, which is from Michelle? And just let me know, do you want to see me finish it, or do you want me just to go ahead with the prompts and show you what I do? So this has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope I can get this video segment installation down to approximately 30 or 35 minutes. We'll see what I can do. And it's been great being here with you all. And I wish every one of you peace and wholeness. Shalom to you. And I'll see you again soon.